Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking a lot about having a clean and healthy scalp and the importance of such and what can happen if you don't wash your scalp enough and what can happen if you overwash your scalp. So I hope you guys are excited. We've got a lot to go over, so this particular lesson is going to be pretty intense. There's a lot of information to cover, and I hope that it's information that can bless you in some way. Maybe it might be able to teach you something new. So let's get started. We have talked in our course so far about looking for things like mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies. We've learned about irregularities of the scalp. We've also learned about different imbalances, and particularly we've covered very basic information so far. We talked about the importance of protein and the importance of iron. We will go into the importance of zinc pretty soon, but there are some key ingredients that are critical for maintaining a healthy scalp. I want to talk a lot about the scalp itself. Particularly, we're going to be talking about the hydration, the sebum, and the pH levels of your scalp. What are some things that you want to look for as far as irregularities and how they can connect to different changes of pH and what that can mean? Normally, when you're suffering from hair loss, you might have your blood drawn in. Your dermatologist or your trichologist might be looking at your blood work to see maybe if you're lacking in some nutrition, or if you have irregular hormones, or if it's something very serious, your dermatologist might prescribe some different things for you to try. We're not talking about anything that is so intense. We're going to be talking about things that most of us go through and things that we can improve within our lives that can maximize the health benefits of our hair. An indicator of a healthy scalp would be to see what state our hydrolipidic film is in. The hydrolipidic film is just the very top layer of skin on your scalp. Hydro meaning water, lipids meaning fat. And if you visit a dermatologist, they might test the hydration and the fat content, the oil and sebum production or output of your hydrolipidic film. Some things that they're going to look for: do you have a very good level of moisture? Do you have a stable output of sebum? If you don't, if you have an unhealthy hydrolipidic film, that is usually an indication that the hair growing is not healthy. If your hydrolipidic film is balanced and healthy, your hair will be healthy. If your hydrolipidic film is lacking in some areas, your hair health will struggle. It doesn't matter how much you exercise, it doesn't matter how much you sleep or what you do. If you aren't able to address that major concern, then whatever hair that you're trying to grow is going to have a very difficult time. First, to understand the way to improve and maximize the health of your hair, we need to kind of discuss the hair's physiology. And so, what are the parts of your hair? Let's get to know our hair on a deeper level. Let's get to know the different parts, what works with what protects our hair, and what damage can do. So let's get started with the different parts of our hair. So we have the root or the bulb of our hair, and that bulb is like a mini organ. So the bulb forms the hair follicle and it's embedded into your scalp at a slight angle. The upper part produces cells that later keratinize into the hair shaft. The hair shaft itself is the visible part of your hair, and that is made out of 3 layers. The first layer is the cuticle, and that is the top outermost layer of your hair shaft. It's a transparent protective layer that gives your hair its shine and silky look. Then we have the cortex, which is several layers of keratin cells that are bound together by intercellular cement, making up 80% of your hair shaft. The cortex is what gives the strands their structure and their color. And in the very middle is the medulla, and that has no significant physiological property. Now, what protects our hair? I want to introduce you to something called the hydrolipidic film. The hydrolipidic film is a protective layer that covers your entire scalp. Rich in sebum, it protects the hair in many ways from harmful foreign substances, including UV rays and pollution. And it also helps to regulate hydration. Now, I also mentioned something called intercellular cement. That is another protective mechanism that your hair possesses. The intercellular cement binds the cells within the tissue, and it keeps the top layers of your epidermis hydrated. So if you've seen hair under a microscope, you might have seen some hair follicles with a waxy, yellow, hardened, almost like a shell, surrounding the hair follicle. This is called oxidized sebum. Sebum is something that we all produce. we have sebaceous glands with every single hair follicle that comes from our head. So our hair follicle is always producing oil, natural oil. When we allow this natural oil to continue coming through the follicle shaft and building up onto our scalp without washing it or taking it away or exfoliating it, it tends to trap dirt and toxins and pollutions, and just like plaque on teeth, it sits around the follicle and kind of hardens. So your hair strand should be coming out of the follicle funnel very free and clear, and under a microscope that follicle funnel will look like a little dark hole, almost like an oval. And when you have sebum buildup, you can no longer see that hole that leads into the follicle, into the little funnel. Instead, you see a buildup, almost like a mound of thick, waxy yellow substance, and that is sebum buildup. That mound, if it's left on your scalp without washing it, without taking it away, it will start to irritate the skin underneath, that hydrolipidic film. It has a regular pH. Okay, let's see. So let's go back. Let's talk about pH before we get into the sebum buildup. So the natural pH of your scalp should be between a 4.5 and a 5.5, which means that your scalp tends to be a little bit acidic, more acidic. It likes that acidity. If you're leaving buildup of sebum around your follicles, that pH can be affected. How is it affected? Well, the sebum becomes hard and thick. It can oxidize, and what happens with oxidized sebum, it results in a microaerophilic environment, when that is like the perfect breeding ground for harmful bacteria to thrive. So from that type of environment, you are going to get extreme inflammation, you will get oxidative stress, and it sets the stage for hair loss. Having a healthy scalp in the pH range between 4.5 and 5.5, massaging that sebum out or removing it, exfoliating it, cleaning it out. So that is a natural way that your body fights the harmful bacteria and keeps your hair growing healthy and strong. Okay, so if you're having a buildup of that sebum, that can be classified as dandruff or seborrheic dermatitis. If you're having an excess buildup of the sebum, to remove it, you would need to use the proper cleaning hair care products and or techniques. And so normally your shampoo has slight lather, and when you massage your scalp and wash with the shampoo, it rids your scalp of sebum and buildup. But I also recommend doing something called a scalp. Now, you've probably heard that term before. I think of it a lot like treating your scalp the way you would treat your face. So typically you wouldn't go 3 to 5 days without washing your face. Doing so would cause immense buildup of dead skin cells. You would get inflammation, acne. It would be extremely unhealthy. We all have a skincare regimen that we swear by. The same thing I want you to think about for your scalp. Think of your scalp as you would your face, and make sure that in your hair care regimen, in your routine, you're shampooing, you're massaging, and you're exfoliating your scalp. How do you exfoliate your scalp? By doing different types of hair masks, either before or after you shampoo. Now, you guys know me, I love to do hair masks and follow it up with shampoo, and that's just the routine that I like. And so later on in this next week, I'm going to be teaching you guys an exfoliation hair mask. We're going to be using leaves and salt and things that really scrub away that dead skin and remove that sebum buildup. An exfoliation mask is something that you would want to limit to about once a week. So when it comes to washing your hair, you might have heard that washing your hair once a week is good, or even once a month. I mean, some people can go pretty long without washing their hair. I would be very careful with that. Try to make sure that your scalp is always kept clean if you want your hair to have the best possible chance at growing healthily. I recommend washing your hair every 3 days to 4 days at most. And try not to go too long in between washes. You don't want to give that sebum time to build up like a hard plaque surrounding your follicle and suffocating it. There is a benefit of washing your hair often. What is that benefit? Well, your telogen hair, or the hair that is meant to shed anyways, will not shed unless it has some sort of incentive to shed. So the hair that you're supposed to lose when you brush your hair or when you massage your hair or exfoliate will sit inside your hair follicle, kind of just hanging out there until you wash your hair. There are so many women who believe that brushing their hair too much or washing their hair too much or massaging their hair causes hair loss. If you are not brushing or washing or massaging your hair, those follicles will start to accumulate until that one time in a week or whenever you decide to wash your hair, you go in and put water on, and then all of that excess hair starts to shed away. And what happens is you see so much hair, you panic, you think that it's because you washed your hair, and so you go even longer next time without washing, and it creates a very vicious cycle that you don't want to be in. Regularly washing your hair is a good thing. Now, it's not just a matter of washing, because when you really think about it, a lot of us suffer from hair loss because of the type of water that we use to wash. I've mentioned in a few of my videos and a few of my group chats that I use filtered water to wash my hair. I've been doing this for a little over a year, and I think that it is extremely beneficial if you are suffering through hair loss, because the environment and toxins and pollutions can actually cause our hair to fall out. So the water that you choose to wash your hair with makes a big difference, at least it did to me. So what I would recommend is getting a water filter, and you can get a big 5-gallon water jug from your local grocery store and just use that in your, keep that next to your shower and use that to wash your hair. It makes a very big difference. Hard water can cause your hair to fall out, so just be careful with the type of water that you use to wash your hair. So wash your hair often and keep your scalp clean. Keeping your scalp clean will not happen if you're using the wrong type of water. We need to treat our scalp well. We need to keep it clean. I'm going to be teaching you guys a lot of exfoliation masks that you can use, and so many more hair masks. And I'm very excited. I've got a lot of stuff planned for you. I hope that you'll reach out to me if you have any questions, and I hope that this wasn't too much information. If it was, let me know. I'll make it a lot easier next time, so just give me your feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed this message and this lesson, and have a most wonderful day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.